Captain Taewon Park opened his eyes to blinding white light. His body felt heavy, like someone had replaced his blood with lead. He tried to move his arms, but thick metal bands held him down on a cold table. The air smelled clean. Too clean. No dust, no sweat, nothing human. "The specimen is awake," said a high voice. Taewon turned his head. A tall figure stood nearby. It had gray skin that looked like wet clay, and 6 black eyes arranged in a circle on its face. It wore a white coat that reached the floor. "I am not a specimen," Taewon said. His throat hurt. "I am Captain Taewon Park of the Earth Defense Force." The alien ignored him. It picked up a metal tool from a table. The tool had a sharp point that glowed blue. "Today we will learn more about human pain responses," the alien said. It moved closer. "Previous tests show that humans can withstand more pain than most species. We need to understand why." Taewon pulled against his restraints. "This breaks every rule of war. I am a prisoner. I have rights." The alien's mouth, a thin line below its eyes, curved up. "The Galactic Council does not recognize Earth as a true member. You have no rights here." The blue tool touched Taewon's arm. Pain shot through his body like lightning. He bit his lip to stop from screaming. He would not give them the satisfaction. When the pain stopped, Taewon gasped for air. "My people will come for me." "No one knows where you are," the alien said. "No one will find you." But Taewon knew better. Before his ship was captured, he had sent out an emergency signal. Earth would know. Earth would come. In a cell 3 floors below, Lieutenant Hyejin Kang scratched another mark on the wall with her fingernail. 26 days since their capture. The cell was small, with just enough room for a bed and toilet. The walls, floor, and ceiling were all the same dull white. The door slid open. A guard stood there, holding a tray of food, a gray paste that tasted like nothing but kept her alive. "Eat," the guard said. It had 4 arms and skin covered in small blue scales. Hyejin took the tray. "Where is my captain? Where is Taewon Park?" The guard made a clicking sound. "Humans always ask about other humans. Why do you care so much about each other? It makes you weak." Hyejin looked the guard in its yellow eyes. "It makes us strong. When one of us is hurt, we all feel it. When one of us is taken, we all come looking." The guard seemed confused. It turned to leave. "They're hurting him now, aren't they?" Hyejin asked. The guard paused but didn't answer. "Tell your leaders they're making a mistake," Hyejin said quietly. "Humans forgive a lot, but not this. Never this." The door slid shut. Hyejin sat on her bed and forced herself to eat the tasteless food. She needed to keep up her strength. The rescue would come, and when it did, she wanted to be ready to fight. Admiral Daejung Choi stood at the window of his office on the moon base. Earth hung in the black sky, blue and peaceful. But the admiral was not at peace. "Play it again," he said. His assistant, Major Junho, tapped his tablet. A hologram appeared in the center of the room. It showed Captain Taewon Park's final transmission. "This is Captain Park of the scout ship Morning Star," the hologram said. Taewon's face was cut, and smoke filled the bridge behind him. "We are under attack by Galactic Council forces at Proxima Centauri. This is an unprovoked attack on a peaceful mission. The image shook as something hit the ship. "Sending coordinates now," Taewon continued. "They're boarding. He looked up, then back at the camera. His eyes were steady even as alarms blared around him. "If we don't come back, remember what they did, and make them pay." The transmission ended. Admiral Choi had watched it 50 times since it arrived 3 weeks ago. Every time his anger grew colder and harder. "What's the status of the rescue mission?" he asked. Junho stepped forward. "The Thunderclap team is ready, sir. Major Jiho, Yang has selected 12 operatives, all veterans, all enhanced." "Enhanced how?" "The new neural implants, sir. They can share thoughts in battle, move as one, and the nanoskin armor can stop most alien weapons." Admiral Choi nodded. "And the intelligence?" "We know where they're holding our people. A research station at Rigel 9. Security is heavy, but we found a way in. Junho handed over a small data chip. There's something else you should see, sir. Something our science team discovered. Admiral Choi inserted the chip into his computer. A complex diagram appeared on the screen. What am I looking at? The Council's entire communication network, Junho said. It's partly biological, living technology, and it has a weakness. He pointed to a series of numbers on the screen. This frequency disrupts their neural links. With this, we could bring their whole civilization to its knees. Admiral. Choi finished. Yes, sir. The Admiral's face darkened. I'm authorizing the rescue mission, but this... He gestured at the screen. This stays in reserve. For now. Sir, I still hope the Council can be reasoned with, that they can be made to understand that torturing our people was a mistake. The Admiral turned back to the window, to the view of Earth. But if they can't, if they force our hand, then God help them. In the White Room, Taewon floated, in a tank of clear liquid. Wires connected his body to machines that beeped and hummed. His eyes were closed, but his mind was active. The alien doctor, whose name was Kelvar, watched the human's brain waves on a screen. Fascinating, Kelvar said. Even in a drug-induced coma, the human mind fights. See these patterns? He pointed to red lines on the screen. That's resistance. I've never seen anything like it. Another alien entered the room. This one was tall and thin, with pale yellow skin and long fingers. It wore the black uniform of the Council Security Force. Any progress? The security officer asked. Some, Kelvar said. We've learned that humans can adapt to pain quickly. Their bodies produce chemicals that block it, and their will to resist is remarkable. Not what I meant, the officer said. Have you learned the location of Earth's defense system, their weapon stockpiles, their fleet positions? Kelvar shook his head. No, the human reveals nothing. No matter what we do. The officer stepped closer to the tank. The Council grows impatient. Earth's ships have been spotted near our borders. They're looking for their lost soldiers. Let them look, Kelvar said. They'll never find this place. But as they talked, neither noticed a small light blinking on one of the machines connected to Taewon. Deep in his seemingly unconscious mind, the captain had activated the emergency beacon hidden in his artificial tooth. The signal was weak, but it was sending, and far away on a stealth ship approaching Rigel 9, Major Ji-Ho Yang smiled as his computer picked up the faint transmission. Found you, he whispered. Hold on, Captain, we're coming. The great hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with voices. 1,000 different species from across the stars gathered in the massive room. Some floated in special tanks. Others wore suits that kept them alive in air they couldn't breathe. All had come for the emergency meeting. High Chancellor Zixnar, a tall being with skin like polished metal, raised 6 long arms. The room fell silent. We face a problem, Zixnar said. His voice echoed through the hall. The humans are looking for their missing soldiers. A murmur ran through the crowd. Many council members had never met a human. Earth had only joined the galactic community 5 years ago. Let them look, called out a round purple creature. They will never find our research station. You underestimate them, said a quiet voice. All heads turned. Council member Subin Kim stood up. She was the only human in the room. Her black hair was tied back, and her face showed no emotion. But those close to her could see the anger in her eyes. You always underestimate us, Subin continued. You think because we are young we are stupid. You think because we still feel strong emotions, we are weak. Zixnar waved a dismissive hand. No one questioned your right to speak, human representative. Subin looked at him calmly. I demand to see the prisoners. Impossible, said Zixnar. They are being held for security reasons. Torture is not security, Subin said. The word torture made many in the crowd shift uncomfortably. It is a crime. Release them, or there will be consequences. Is that a threat? Zixnar asked, his voice cold. Subin didn't answer. She simply turned and walked out of the hall. As she left, she touched a small device hidden in her ear. It sent a signal across space. They won't listen. Proceed with the rescue. Major Ji Ho Yang studied the hologram of Rigel 9 space station. His team gathered around the table in the war room of the stealth ship Shadow. All 12 were veteran soldiers. All had fought in the Mars uprising. All had the new tech, neural implants that let them share thoughts and nanoskin armor under their clothes. The prison level is here, Ji Ho said, pointing to the bottom of the station. Captain Park's signal is coming from the lab section here. Lieutenant Kang and the others are likely in these cells. Guards? Asked Sergeant Min Ali. She was the smallest person in the room, but everyone knew she was the deadliest in close combat. Many, Ji Ho said. But they don't know we're coming, and we have something they don't expect. He held up a small black disc. This device sends out a frequency that disrupts their neural network. When activated, every alien on that station will have the worst headache of their lives. They won't be able to think straight or fight back. Will it kill them? Asked Corporal. Hanjun Ji Ho shook his head. No, we're not assassins, we're a rescue team. He looked each soldier in the eye. The Admiral was clear. No killing unless absolutely necessary. We want the Council to fear us, not hate us more. They tortured our people, Mina said, her voice hard. They deserve justice, Ji Ho cut in. Not revenge. There's a difference. Remember that when we're in there. The team nodded. They didn't like it, but they would follow orders. Suit up, Ji Ho said. We move in 1 hour. Back on Earth, Admiral Choi met with the World Council in an underground room in Geneva. The leaders of Earth's nations sat around a large table. The rescue mission is underway, Choi told them, but we need to prepare for what comes after. War? Asked the president of the African Union. I hope not, Choi said. But the Galactic Council needs to understand that Earth is not a minor player. They can push around. They took our people. They hurt them. There must be a response. What do you suggest? Asked the Prime Minister of the Asian Alliance. Choi activated a hologram that showed a complex web of light spreading across stars. This is the Council's communication network. It's partly biological, living technology that connects their worlds. Our scientists found a weakness. He pointed to a pulsing red dot. This frequency disrupts their neural links. It won't kill anyone, but it will shut down their entire civilization for days. The room was silent as the leaders took in what this meant. That's a powerful weapon, said the European Chancellor finally. It's a last resort, Choi said. I'm not suggesting we use it immediately, but they need to know we have it. They need to understand that we could bring them to their knees if we wanted to. And if they don't back down, asked the President of the Americas, then we show them exactly what humans do when pushed too far, Choi said quietly. In his liquid tank, Captain Taewon dreamed of home. He saw the mountains where he grew up. He felt the cool wind on his face, but even in his dreams, pain followed him. The aliens had been in his mind for days, trying to break through his mental defenses. They wanted Earth's secrets. They would never get them. Interesting, said Dr. Kelvar, watching the brain scans. Even in deep sleep, the human protects certain memories. It's like a wall made of pure will. Science Director Epthal, who had traveled from the Council homeworld to see the human specimens, shook his head in wonder. How can such a primitive species have such mental strength? It doesn't make sense. That's why we need more tests, Kelvar said. More subjects. The Council has approved the capture of 3 more human ships, Epthal said. Soon we'll have dozens of specimens. What they didn't know was that Taewon could hear them. The drugs kept his body still, but his mind was alert. More captures, more torture. Rage built inside him like a storm. He focused that rage into his emergency beacon, making the signal stronger. Come find me, he thought. Come stop them before they take more of us. On the Shadow, now just minutes from Rigel 9, Major Ji Ho felt a surge in the signal. Captain Park's beacon just got stronger, he told his team. He knows we're coming. Minna checked her weapons. How is that possible? They said he was drugged. Jiho smiled grimly. They don't understand humans very well, especially not humans. Like Taewon Park. He stood and addressed his team. This mission is about more than just saving our people. It's about sending a message. The Council thinks we're weak. Today we show them just how wrong they are. The shadow approached the space station, its stealth technology hiding it from all sensors. Inside, 12 of Earth's best soldiers prepared for battle. The rescue was about to begin. And somewhere in the Council's main chamber, Subin Kim watched the security feeds and waited for chaos to erupt. Rigel 9 space station hung like a giant metal star in the darkness. Lights blinked across its surface. Ships came and went from its docking bays. No one noticed the small dark ship that slipped between the shadows. The shadow approached a maintenance hatch on the bottom of the station. Major Jiho looked at the small screen on his wrist. Captain Park's signal was stronger now. We're right on top of him, Jiho told his team. Everyone clear on the plan? 11 heads nodded. They all wore black armor with no markings. Their helmets hid their faces. Each carried weapons that looked simple but were far more advanced than anything the Council had. Remember, Jiho said, we get our people and get out. We plant the evidence, we leave the message, no unnecessary killing. What if they don't give us a choice? Minna asked. Jiho's face hardened. Then we show them why humans are the most dangerous species they've ever met. He pressed a button on his wrist. The small black disc he had shown them earlier lit up. Activating neural disruptor now. Inside the station, every alien suddenly stopped what they were doing. Guards dropped their weapons. Scientists fell to their knees. The neural disruptor sent out a high-pitched sound that humans couldn't hear, but that made every non-human brain feel like it was on fire. In the lab, Dr. Kelvar screamed and fell against a control panel. The buttons his body hit drained the liquid from Taewon's tank. The captain's eyes snapped open as air replaced the fluid around him. For the first time in days, his mind was completely clear. He saw Kelvar writhing on the floor, holding his head. Taewon tried to move, but tubes and wires still connected him to machines. He was too weak to break free. Then the lab door exploded inward. Through the smoke stepped a figure in black armor. The helmet visor lifted, and Taewon saw Jiho's face. Major, Taewon croaked, his voice rough from disuse. You're late, Jiho smiled. Traffic was bad, sir. He began removing the tubes from Taewon's body. Can you move? Give me a minute, Taewon said. Where are the others? Hyejin? Minaz. Team is getting them now. Jiho helped Taewon sit up. We need to hurry. The disruptor won't work forever. Taewon looked down at Kelvar, who was still conscious but unable to speak or move properly. What about him? We're taking him, Jiho said. Him and the data on what they did to you. The whole galaxy needs to see what the Council really is. 3 floors below, Minna's team moved through the prison section. Guards lay on the floor, holding their heads in pain. None tried to stop the humans. Minna found the cell control room. She pressed her palm against the main computer. The nanobots in her skin hacked into the system, opening all the cells at once. Prisoners stumbled out. Most were human, crew from Taiwan's ship. Some were other species that the Council had decided were research-worthy. Hyejin Kang walked. Out last. Her body was thin, her face pale, but her eyes burned with the same fire as always. When she saw Minna, she smiled. I told them you'd come, she said. Minna handed her a weapon. Ready to leave? Hyejin checked the gun with practiced hands. More than ready. But first I want to see the files. I want to know everything they did and who ordered it. Already on it, Minna said. She gestured to another team member who was downloading data from the prison computers. We're taking everything, a voice came through their helmets. This is Jiho. I have the captain. Meet at extraction point in 10 minutes. Minna nodded to her team. Time to go. In the Council. Chamber on the homeworld, alarms blared. Screens showed the chaos on Rigel 9. High Chancellor Zixnar watched in disbelief as humans in black armor moved freely through the station. How did they find it? He demanded. How did they get past our defenses? No one answered. No one knew. What they didn't see was Subin Kim slipping out of the chamber. In her hand was a small device that had just sent a message. Mission successful. Evidence secured. Prepare for Phase 2. Back on Rigel 9, the human teams met at the maintenance hatch where they had entered. Freed prisoners and captured data were loaded onto the Shadow. Jiho carried Taewon, who was still weak but insisted on walking the last few steps himself. Wait, Taewon said as they prepared to leave. We need to leave them something. A message. Jiho looked at his captain. What kind of message? Taewon's eyes were cold. Something they'll never forget. Mina stepped forward. From her pack, she took a metal rod. When she pressed a button, the rod extended into a long tool. Will this do, Captain? Taewon nodded. 10 minutes later, as alien guards finally began to recover from the neural disruption, they found words burned deep into the metal wall of the main corridor. This was mercy. Next time we won't stop. On Earth, Admiral Choi received the message he had been waiting for. Package secured. Coming home. He turned to the World Council leaders who had stayed to hear the news. The mission was successful. Our people are coming home. And the evidence? Asked the European Chancellor. Everything, Choi said. Files, videos, witnesses. Enough to show the entire galaxy what the Council has been doing. What will we do with it? Asked the President of the Americas. Choi's face was grim. We broadcast it to every world, every species. Let them all see what happens in the Council's secret labs. Then we make our demand. Which is? Justice, Choi said simply. And if they refuse? He touched the screen on his desk, bringing up the plans for the Council's neural network again. Then we show them what happens when you torture human soldiers. The Shadow raced through space, heading for Earth. In the medical bay, doctors treated the freed prisoners. Taewon lay on a bed, his strength slowly returning. Hyejin sat beside him. Did you tell them anything? She asked quietly. Taewon shook his head. Not a word. You? Nothing, she said. None of us did. Taewon looked out the window at the stars, rushing by. They thought we were weak, that we would break easily. They don't understand humans, Hyejin said. No, Taewon agreed. But they will. On the bridge, Jiho sent a final message to Earth. Mission complete. But this isn't over. It's just beginning. In his private chamber, High Chancellor Zixnar received a report on the Rigel 9 incident. The humans had taken everything, prisoners, data, even one of the lead scientists. They had moved through the station like ghosts, disabling everyone without killing a single guard. It was not the violence that frightened him. It was the precision, the control. These humans could have killed everyone on that station, but they chose not to. That made them more dangerous, not less. What do we do now? Asked his advisor. Zixnar had no answer. For the first time in his long life, he felt something unfamiliar. Fear. 1 week after the rescue, the Galactic Council held an emergency meeting. Representatives from 1,000 worlds filled the Great Hall. The mood was tense. Everyone had seen the evidence that Earth had broadcast across the galaxy. Videos of human prisoners being tortured, files detailing cruel experiments, testimony from Captain Taewon Park and the other survivors. The Council could not deny what they had done. High Chancellor Zixnar tried to keep control of the meeting. These were isolated incidents, he insisted. The actions of a few scientists, not the policy of the Council. Lies, said a voice from the back of the hall. The crowd parted as Subin Kim walked forward. She no longer wore the simple gray clothes of a council representative. Now she wore the blue uniform of Earth's Defense Force. You approved everything, Subin said, her voice clear and strong. I have the documents with your personal seal, Chancellor. Every experiment, every torture session. You knew. Whispers ran through the crowd. Many species were shocked by what they had seen in Earth's broadcast. Some had already spoken out against the Council's treatment of humans. The humans tricked their way into our research station, Zixnar said. They stole confidential files. They kidnapped a Council scientist. We rescued our people, Subin corrected him, and we took evidence of your crimes. There's a difference. Before Zixnar could respond, the screens around the hall lit up. Admiral Daejung Choi's face appeared, larger than life. Members of the Galactic Council, the Admiral said. I speak today for all of Earth. On the Retribution, Earth's largest warship, Admiral Choi stood before a camera. Behind him, on the bridge, Captain Tae-Wan and Lieutenant Hye-Jin stood at attention. They had recovered from their ordeal and insisted on being present for this moment. For centuries, Choi continued, you have considered yourselves the arbiters of civilization. You have judged species worthy or unworthy based on criteria of your choosing. The Admiral's face was calm, but his eyes were hard. You believed humans primitive because we still experience emotions that you have engineered out of yourselves. You saw our compassion as weakness, our anger as a flaw. He gestured, and the screen split to show footage from the detention centers. Council scientists, performing terrible procedures on conscious human prisoners. We came to you in peace, Choi said. We offered friendship, trade, knowledge. In return, you abducted our people and treated them as laboratory specimens. In the council chamber, many representatives shifted uncomfortably. Some had not known about these secret labs. Some had suspected but said nothing. The facilities you've lost were unmanned when we destroyed them. Choi continued. This was deliberate. We are not monsters despite what you believe. That got everyone's attention. Reports had been coming in for days. Council research stations, weapons platforms, and detention centers across 7 star systems had been destroyed. No casualties, just precise destruction of empty buildings. But make no mistake, Choi said, his voice dropping lower. We are not defenseless. On the bridge of the Retribution, Tae-Wan stepped forward. He still bore the marks of his captivity. Scars. On his face and arms, a slight limp. But he stood tall. You sought to break us to learn our secrets, Tae-Wan said to the camera. Here's one freely given. Humans don't break. We adapt. We overcome. When threatened, we unite. He looked directly into the lens, knowing that Zixnar would be watching. You tried to see inside my mind. You wanted to know what makes humans strong. Now you know. It's not our technology. It's not our weapons. It's our will. Tae-Wan stepped back, and Admiral Choi faced the camera again. You have 6 Earth days to return all human prisoners and dismantle every detention facility, Choi said. 6 days to acknowledge our sovereignty and right to exist without persecution. In the council chamber, Zixnar stood up. And if we refuse? He asked, his voice transmitted back to the Retribution. The Admiral's expression hardened. Then run, he replied simply. Run as far and as fast as you can because what comes next won't be a warning. The transmission ended, leaving the council chamber in stunned silence. Subin turned and walked toward the exit. Where are you going? Demanded Zixnar. She turned, her expression calm. To prepare the peace accords, because unlike you, I've studied human history. And trust me, you don't want to be on the wrong side of it. Later that day, in a private meeting room, the leaders of the council's most powerful species gathered. They're bluffing, said the Drevnar representative, a large insect-like being. One small planet cannot threaten the entire council. Did you see what they did to Rigel 9? Asked another. They walked through our strongest defenses like they weren't there. And the destroyed facilities, added a third. 17 targets. Across 7 systems, all hit within hours of each other. No alarms triggered, no witnesses, just gone. Zixnar sat silently, thinking. Finally, he spoke. We need to know what weapon they have. What could they possibly use against the entire council? Dr. Kelvar had not been seen since the humans took him from Rigel 9. But before his capture, he had sent a report. Zixnar read it now. The humans found something, he said slowly. A frequency that disrupts our neural network. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what that meant. The Council's worlds were connected by a living network, a biological technology that linked their communication, transportation, even their life support systems. If they can disrupt that, the words didn't need to be finished. 6 days, Zixnar said. We have 6 days to decide. On Earth, Taewon stood at the window of a hospital room looking at the sky. His body was healing, but the memories remained. He heard the door open and turned to see Hye-jin. How are you feeling? She asked. Better, he said. The doctors say I can return to duty next week. Hye-jin came to stand beside him. Do you think the Council will agree to our terms? Taewon was quiet for a moment. They have to. They've seen what we can do, and that was us showing restraint. And if they don't, then Admiral Choi will keep his promise, Taewon said. And the Council will learn that the only thing more dangerous than human kindness is human wrath. 5 days later, a Council ship entered Earth's orbit. It carried a simple message. The Council agreed to all terms. All human prisoners had been released. All detention facilities had been dismantled. Earth's sovereignty was recognized. Admiral Choi stood with the World Council as the message was read. When it was done, there was no cheering, no celebration, only a solemn silence. Is it over? Asked the President of the African Union. Choi shook his head. No, this is just the beginning. The Council has seen that we cannot be pushed around. Now we need to show them that we can be valuable allies if they treat us with respect. And the weapon? Asked the European Chancellor. The frequency that could disrupt their network? We keep it, Choi said firmly. As insurance. But we never use it unless there is no other choice. That's what makes us different from them. We have the power to destroy, but we choose not to. Use it. 3 months later, Taewon stood on the observation deck of a new ship. The Peacekeeper was Earth's first diplomatic vessel, designed to visit Council worlds and build new relationships. Hye-jin joined him, now his second in command. Ready for our first mission, Captain? Taewon looked at the stars spread out before them. Yes. It's time to show the galaxy who humans really are. Do you think they've learned? Asked Hye-jin. The Council, I mean. Taewon thought about the scars on his body, the memories that still woke him at night. But he also thought about the future, the possibility of peace, of understanding between species. They've learned to fear us, he replied. Now we teach them to respect us. The hard part comes next, showing them that humanity's greatest strength isn't our capacity for retribution. What is it then? He smiled slightly. Our capacity for forgiveness, but only when it's earned. Behind them, the ship's engines hummed to life. The Peacekeeper moved forward, carrying humans into a galaxy that now understood one simple truth. Earth was not to be taken lightly. One warning had been enough.